Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR today, Thursday morning, August 19th, 2021. The man they call Meathead and the M.O.T.S, Matthew Thomas. Good morning, Matthew.
Good morning and happy AEW Hump Day to you, because this is actually officially now what I'm coining AEW Hump Day. They air Wednesday, they air Friday, and today is the day in between. I think there is a new day in the week.
You're leaner, you're meaner, a little bit in betweener?
Yes, that's precisely not what I was going after, but yeah, I can run with that.
Last night we had Dynamite. We'll get into Dynamite in just a little bit, but I thought when you said Hump Day, let's get over the hump now. We've left Houston. The next Dynamite will be from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where you're going to find PWR today at Linda K. The man they call Meathead will be on site at the building, plus possibly our friend from Big D. We don't know. We know where he's going to be on Saturday. We aren't confirmed yet if he's coming into town on Wednesday.
You've got here's the thing, though. They're going from Houston to Milwaukee. You guys have a lot less space control systems over there, from what I understand.
Right. There was at least one reference last night of Houston, we have a problem as well, which was fine.
I mean, I imagine you could probably figure out a way to launch a rocket of some sort, but not quite what they're packing in Houston.
Rocket ship into outer space, nothing left to do, too many things are said. All right, let's think about too many things that have been said and just go right to the sponsorship. Matthew, go.
Collar and Elbow Brand, available exclusively at collarandelbowbrand.com, a website where you can save money if you enter a special promo code, and that promo code is called Linda K, and it's spelled LINDAKAY. That saves you 10%. And you can use that money to buy more Collar and Elbow Brand. You know, it's kind of like a repetitive type of deal where you save that and you put that in your Collar and Elbow Brand fund. And then the next time you use something that was in your Collar and Elbow Brand fund, and then save another 10% by entering promo code Linda K. And then it keeps going on.
And it keeps going on and it keeps going on, like the Energizer Bunny of wrestling gear. Let's talk about the news this Saturday. Like I said, and like you know, that this Saturday we'll know where our friend from Big D is going to be. Viva Las Vegas, Matthew Thomas, the M.O.T.S, the Matthew on the street, will be getting some audio for us, right, Matthew?
Oh, you know it, and I'll get to it a little bit later in the program, but I've got all kinds of special audio stuff lined up.
So SummerSlam this Saturday in Vegas. Matthew Thomas, Goldberg was just recently on the bump, and he said he's only got 2 matches left, and I got to assume one of those is Saturday's SummerSlam match. And I believe that Goldberger's probably got that one match left, probably going to do Saudi Arabia / Afghanistan, even though, well, Afghanistan's having a bit of an issue right now. They might not have any wrestling today. So we'll have to see how that goes. But Goldberg reveals he's only got 2 matches left on his contract.
So one's with Bobby Lashley, and the other is when his son wrestles him for the WWE title that he takes off of Bobby Lashley.
You know, it says that he's got 2 matches left, but that doesn't mean that he has 2 appearances left. I wonder if he's just got 2 matches or 2 appearances left.
Yeah, who knows, man?
I mean, we're splitting hairs there, but you know, I think he's paid by appearance on his contract, and he's got an appearance-based contract. So,
man, it's this has been an interesting Goldberg run. I read an article. I believe it was yesterday that basically stated that, you know, you think of the initial Goldberg run in WCW. I mean, he has been more of a WWE, and I don't want to, the term nostalgia act has a negative connotation to it, but I mean, if you
it's not wrong.
Right. You know, he's basically he's had his WWE run, you know, longer than that WCW run ever was.
Yeah. One more SummerSlam note here. Apparently, Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, who were not on the house shows over the weekend, are good to go and cleared to perform at SummerSlam. So Sasha Banks' title win over Bianca Belair this Saturday is a go.
Yes, it is. I know there was some concerns there. I believe 2 straight house show matches canceled, and there was much speculation and concern for their well-being. But good to hear that it looks like that is being green lit for Vegas, and I think that'll be a good match to see in person.
let's do a lukewarm segue here. Let's talk about something that happened at NXT a few years ago. And we'll make our way into an AEW review of Dynamite last night. Malakai Black told a story on Sean Waltman's Pro Wrestling for Life podcast and explained why he was off of TV for 3 months in NXT. Apparently, him and Tommaso were in the feud. It was supposed to be him, Johnny, Tommaso. It was going to go to a takeover match. But apparently, the backstage collapsed and his head collided with his nether region. Malakai Black busted a nut backstage in NXT, shattering his testicle.
That's horrific.
Oof.
That and just, you know, if anybody was able to pick up on my snicker, it wasn't the actual fact of it. It was your terminology there. I had to take a minute to kind of get past. Right. But yeah, that's just absolutely awful. I never heard that, and wow, glad he's doing all right.
I know how he said it. It wasn't meant to be a ha-ha funny. I mean, but sometimes I can't help myself. Malakai Black hopefully is good to go for the rest of life, because that's a man thing, man. Even if, you know, Tesla's 4th CD from the studio, Busted Nuts, was a huge success. We don't want people busting a nut over performing in the ring.
Was Elon Musk in that band or no?
Say that again.
Was Elon Musk in that band or no?
No.
Okay.
Tesla is about Nikolai Tesla, sir.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He did some work here in Colorado, from what I understand.
Quite possibly. So yeah. Glad to hear Malakai Black, and such an odd story to pop. No pun intended. Such an odd story to just come up on the news wires while he's performing at AEW, and he'll have a match next week against Brock. Why am I spacing on his name?
Brock. Next week on AEW, Aleister Black versus Brock, man.
Yeah. Aleister Black versus Brock Anderson, sure. Let's talk about Dynamite from last night. And the show starts off right away with, we were going to hear from Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. And you know what? I still kind of dig their entrances. It's different now in the different buildings. Eddie's on the phone yelling, and he goes, "Come on, John, let's go." And John's just over in the corner. But they're attacked by 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. 2.0 and Garcia get in the ring. Matt Lee says they just took out Darby and Sting's boys. What the hell does that mean? Darby and Sting are friends with Moxley and Kingston? Those are their boys? Made no sense whatsoever. And they yelled the whole time. There was more yelling last night, but who are these guys?
Here's the thing. You know, this very well could have been something that we missed by not watching a complete Dark or a complete Elevation. You know, maybe you got a little segment on one of those shows that is now canon of
But
Darby
if it is
Allin.
canon, wouldn't we have gotten it on Dynamite and recently on Dark?
One would think, but, you know, if I'm in charge of AEW and I want to get eyes on what I don't think a lot of people are watching, I confuse people if they don't watch my main product. And I say next week, you know what, you got to tune in. Maybe you'll get a little segment of, you know, them hanging out, playing like hopscotch or something. Yeah, or something like that. Yeah, a little confused by that as well too. But I want to kind of look at it from another side of the equation. And we're going to get to the match here in a second. And I don't think it's any surprise the outcome of the match.
None.
But I want to look at the way that AEW is using their nostalgia talent versus the way WWE is using their nostalgia talent. One company has got them featured against somebody like a Sting, going up against a new tag team to the company, but a tag team that was just doing backstage segments on NXT a couple of months ago. You're getting the rub, and by the rub in this situation, I mean
there was only a 30-day gap between NXT and AEW.
Getting to see them actually in the ring with these legendary talents. When WWE does that, when they bring somebody the likes of a Sting, i.e., what they're doing with Goldberg now, they're taking up a main event at a major SummerSlam for a title.
And he interacts with one person.
Exactly. So I would much rather see, wow, I can't believe this tag team who, really didn't get that much attention on NXT, that's now just kind of, popped up in AEW. I'd rather see somebody like that get the time with the Sting than I would the WWE formula that we're watching right now.
Texas Tornado Tag Team match. They are live in Houston. 2.0, Jeff Parker and Matt Lee, formerly known as Ever-Rise in NXT, with Daniel Garcia to take on Darby Allin and Sting. And this did go throughout the arena for a little bit, but the winners of the match, Darby Allin and Sting. No surprise here. And the match was okay. I didn't hate the match. Just, I don't know what Ever-Rise is, what they are. I don't know what 2.0 is. And I need to know a little bit more before they're yelling about, we got your boys. What does that mean to me? It made absolutely no sense.
Yeah. And honestly, they've got to, and not that they're going after it intentionally here, but their thing in WWE, I mean, it was a Bucks-like gimmick. So you've got to get them into AEW and make it known this is not another version of the Bucks. What that looks like going past this, I don't exactly know, but you're right. We need a little bit more of kind of an introduction, kind of an origin story to who 2.0 is. What happened to 1.0? Why are they 2.0?
Right. So Sammy Guevara's big surprise was him proposing to his girlfriend in the ring, Tully and Sean Spears. It was a dirty promo, and it was pretty damn funny. Said must be slim pickings in Houston, and that we're going to make you a member in the Pinnacle, because in the Pinnacle you're always on top. Spears says for one night only he's making Pam a member of the Pinnacle so she can be on top.
Well, that was nice of him.
That was filthy. Funny, but it was filthy.
Yeah, and these two, Sammy and Sean Spears, they match up really well together.
And it's really kind of elevated Sean Spears. Not that Sammy doesn't get a little bit of elevation off of this too, but honestly, it's really put relevance onto Sean Spears' name.
No, without a doubt. And, this is, we've seen Pinnacle and Inner Circle going back and forth with each other for months now. But the good thing is, I mean, there are pairings that do very, very well together. And I think they have done a good job of, making it feel relevant and not necessarily stale.
We're going to skip over the Christian promo because we spoiled it a little bit yesterday, and we're going to talk about Impact tomorrow. But really, it's just a promo for Impact to say that Christian's going to be an Impact tomorrow, and there's going to be a decision made on the TNA Championship. And then Don Callis did the whole, remember when I gave you a shot, kid, 25 years ago, where Christian ends up calling Callis a carny piece of shit. When that first came out, when Christian first addressed Don Callis on Rampage last week, the closed captioning said corny. I was like, that doesn't make sense. He called him a carny. Oh, boy. Corny. I mean, I get it, corn and shit, but, whatever. Shivani is in the ring with Dan Lambert. It was supposed to happen last week. It happened last night. Who's there with Junior Dos Santos and Andre Arlovsky. Again, the yelling. You know what? Lambert's not bad on a microphone.
No, not at all.
But he gave me a Zeb Coulter vibe.
Yeah. No, he definitely had the intensity dialed up quite considerably. And, as we may have mentioned in a previous show, I actually know Dan Lambert's brother, Tim, and I'm actually in contact with Tim to try to get a Dan Lambert interview on this very show.
There you go. Top team interviewing top PWR Today panelists.
Although it seems like there may be some confusion about where Dan Lambert is at right now and his whereabouts. So I'm currently investigating that. But so I will.
I think he might be in Milwaukee next week.
I will keep you updated as the as more progresses with this whole Dan Lambert story.
The Jericho promo backstage I thought was fantastic. The only bone I have to pick with it, and it's nitpicking really, I didn't need to hear Jericho tell me he's got 5,000 people out there willing to sing him in. I don't want to know how many people are in the building.
Yeah.
I want to be told it's a full building. I don't care if it's 5,000 and it looks like it's 10,000. I don't care if it's 5,000 and it looks like they're in a 20,000 seat arena. I don't want to know that. What I want to know is that a packed building with energy. That's literally, I'm nitpicking. The rest of it, fantastic.
No, absolutely. And I mean, here's the thing: the way you shot that last night, yeah, I could very easily. I knew it was probably 5, but
there wasn't a second bowl. So I mean, if you're really looking, you knew it was 5.
Yeah, but somebody who doesn't know at home, man, it wouldn't be out of the stretch of an imagination to feel like you got 10,000 there. So no, don't give me the exact numbers in a situation like that.
Let Shivani yell out, "We got a capacity crowd." That's all I want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. AEW World Tag Team Championship match: the Bucks, Matt and Nick, followed by Brandon Cutler, Doc Gallows, Don Callis, Carl Anderson, Michael Nakazawa. Good God, that's a big entourage. Yeah. Taking on Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus with Marco Stunt. Interference from Kenny Omega with the chair across Marco Stunt's back. All in all, Christian comes out to try to save him, gets beat down in the ring. You knew it had to happen after Christian defeated Omega for the Impact Championship. And the Elite posing on the stage. There was like 7 of them there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, I mean, to AEW's credit, they have gotten to a point where they have an arena full of quote unquote smart wrestling fans that really have no interest in seeing Omega or the Bucks going over. That these guys get actively booed, which I mean, I think they've just done. I mean, I guess that proves kind of what they're doing works. I would like to see a little less of a cartoonish version of the Elite, but I guess you do have the problem.
It's working right now for them.
It's working, and I mean they're getting the desired effect. AEW.
It's not X-Pac Jared Heat, but they're getting
no. I mean, I think that what they're doing is they're just saying, okay, let's just become the biggest caricatures of professional wrestlers that we can absolutely be. So that, whether they're disappointed in our gimmick or, to the degree that we're turning this dial up, they want to see the baby faces go over. And that's what's happening. The interesting thing.
Has there ever been a truer company for faces and heels right now?
I don't think so. Outside of Britt Baker, I mean, the baby faces are getting cheered pretty unanimously. The heels are getting booed pretty unanimously. And for it to be an adult crowd, I mean, how many? You look at a WWE audience, you look at an AEW
Talk
audience.
About an autocorrect, huh?
Yeah, I don't know that I saw any children there last night. I know there have been
there last night.
Some, but they're not that prevalent. And I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm just saying it is a very. It's an interesting. It's almost like an ECW demographic.
You know what it is? It's adult wrestling fans that feel they've been abandoned for the last 10 to 15 years.
I think you're spot on.
So, speaking of Britt Baker, DMD, Tony Schiavone backstage, just going all over the arena last night, interviewing Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, and Rebel there as well. Jamie Hayter has an accent. Did not know. Maybe I forgot. But to hear her say Milwaukee in English or Australian or whatever it was, again, I don't only geek for the fact that obviously Dynamite's coming to town. The wrestling fan of me gets excited about that. But back when I used to want to cut up audio files and have my own stuff, they said it like 6 or 7 times last night.
Yeah,
I mean that's the kind of stuff that I would look for. So,
well, it makes it feel special to you because you live there, but. My goodness, I mean, just the casual wrestling fan who's watching that, it gets me excited as a viewer for, that's the city they're coming to, because, and especially after 18 months of them being in the same place, it's like, okay, they're going to be somewhere different. I'm going to be able to set.
We need Stagger Lee Marshall back to let us know where the next city is.
We do.
Rest in peace, Stagger Lee.
But you know what, man? I mean, that is something I think the nostalgia is there for.
Wait a minute. They could pause the show. Hey, M.O.T.S, that's your new job.
Oh,
that's That's
You know
it.
what? I think I'll do that, and I will call in. I will call in specifically from a payphone.
Call in from a payphone using 10-10-321. Call in on the night that Linda and I are doing, or the morning that Linda and I are doing. Let us know what the next city is, and you'll tell us what's going on in that city. You'll give us 2 random facts.
You know what? I'm just going to do just a straight 0 for just a straight up collect, man. I don't feel like people dial people collect enough, man. So that's going to be my I'm going to try to work on that
It's
over
because you and I aren't in prison. That's why.
Yeah, I'm going to exhaust the landlines that I know and just call them collect.
All right, Matt Hardy cut his promo. He said that for some reason, obviously, the best friends think he is picking on Wheeler Yuta, and it's not the case. He says, he beat Yuta in a 6-man, and then he beat him again once, one-on-one. He can beat any of the best friends anytime. It looks like Orange Cassidy's going to find that out in Milwaukee. Orange Cassidy, Matt Hardy, one-on-one.
I'm really intrigued to see that matchup, man. I'm really intrigued to see the interactions between those two. Hopefully Matt Hardy, kind of turns it up a little bit. I don't know if I doubt we're going to go broken Matt, but, we did get a delete thing last week, man. So I'd like to see Matt Hardy turn the Matt Hardy dial up a little bit in this interaction.
Big announcement from Paul White, no more BS, formerly known as The Big Show, and Schiavone in the ring now. Schiavone's getting his steps in. Paul White in the ring with Tony Schiavone, and he says, you know what, I talked to Tony Khan, and I got an announcement. Here comes QT Marshall, and, he dropped to Houston. We have a problem. Yeah, you know what, that stuff doesn't bother me. It's corny, but it's funny. The heel's got to be the one that says it. But really the announcement is Big Show wants to wrestle, and he's got a match at All Out against QT.
You get, a former WWE star featured, a former WCW star featured on a pay-per-view, and he's going up against somebody who's not had a lot of AEW pay-per-view matches in QT Marshall. I think that you're really using somebody like Paul White wise here, because you're not putting him up against Kenny Omega, but my goodness, man, you're getting a star on the show, and it's elevating Marshall by working with this guy. I think it's a win-win. And I go back to, how is AEW using their,
their legend, quote unquote.
Their legend talent. And I think it's a proper use.
Tony Schiavone backstage with the Elite. Good God, Tony, dude, you're putting in just step after step after step. Basically what we got out of this is Tony Khan said, enough of the shenanigans with the Young Bucks. We're going to have a World Tag Team Championship Eliminator Tournament featuring the Blondes, Private Party, Lucha Brothers, and Jurassic Express. The winners will challenge for the championships at All Out in a steel cage. Who do you got? Lucha Brothers, Private Party, Varsity Blondes, Jurassic Express.
I think we go Lucha Brothers match in a cage. That seems to make the most sense.
Brothers and the Young Bucks in a cage, huh?
I could see this go any way, but when I look at that stipulation and I look at the two teams that I think would mesh up the best in a cage match, man, that's the one that intrigues me the most.
I'm still thinking it's going to be Jurassic Express, but
yeah,
we'll
and that's fine, man. I think that it honestly would not have surprised me last night if they flipped the titles. You've got somebody, super over in Jungle Boy, and that freaking theme song, man.
Right. They paid for it. They want to use it.
Yeah. So that would not surprise me in the least.
By the way, Schiavone was backstage with Death Triangle now. Again, Tony getting in his steps across the arena. Well, it's only a 5,000-seat arena, so it's not like a huge place. Pac told Andrade El Idolo that anytime, anywhere, and Idolo said all out. Okay, so Death Triangle's already got their, ducks lining up, possibly the Lucha Brothers in a tag match. Pac would match it with El Idolo. And then Chavito came out, says that if Pac wants the match, then Pac has to agree to his condition. They hand him a huge contract, and Guerrero says even if they win the tournament, they will never be champions, just like Pac. Okay. Match number 4. We had a lot of non-match happen for the, seriously, like a 20-minute segment of no matches. Here's Penelope Ford and Thunder Rosa. I love me some Thunder Rosa. Have I made that clear yet? I love the painted side, and I love the non-painted side. Thunder Rosa with the victory.
Yes, and some pretty cool entrance music for Thunder Rosa as well too. I don't know if this was new or I never noticed it before, but my goodness, she definitely had the crowd with her there. I think Thunder Rosa is probably your second most popular talent in that women's division.
Thunder Rosa with the victory. Footage of Malakai Black laying out Arn Anderson, laying out Cody Rhodes, and apparently Brock Anderson will be getting a match in Milwaukee against Malakai Black this coming Dynamite.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, he's going to walk all over top of him, but it's cool to, basically what they're doing with Black, he's got an attraction feel to him at this point. And I've never known somebody to be that new in a company and really new in a quintessential main roster career, if you want to call that, with Black. But my goodness, they've made him feel special. They've made him feel like an attraction. And what a freaking cool graphic. What a cool stock graphic they've got of Black. That really stood out to me last night. He's got it's kind of shot from the side or him, with his back to the camera looking. Just very well done presentation. And again, this is a guy that, when you have a babyface champion, I mean, this guy is right for the pickings to challenge for the championship. I mean, they built him up enough in the last 6 or 7 weeks by making this guy feel important and special.
Final, the main event, only 5 matches on Dynamite. Jericho is barred from using the Judas Effect. Chris Jericho versus MJF. Matthew, you called it last week that they're going to sing him in, right? Mm-hmm. That was a given. I thought they could have done more here. If MJF is taking everything away from Jericho, he should have came out to no lights and just a spotlight and have him sung in with lighters, right? Yeah. They got the Videotron playing. Yeah. They got, and now his opponent. It should have been more. Yeah. But, still, it was awesome. I mean, it was nice. The crowd finally sunk up, and got all the words together at the same time because there was no cue. Hey, start singing now, right?
Yeah.
The finish of the match, MJF wins. Your thoughts?
I think this was done very well in the fact that, he took basically, this whole 5 labors thing. He beat him down. He beat him down like a heel would. He set it up so that he, tried to stay as far away from him as he could, even into the last match. He took away his entrance. He took away his finisher. But at the end of the day, MJF beat him as clean as a heel is going to beat a babyface in the middle of the ring. He made Chris Jericho tap out. And honestly, MJF, 24, 25 years old at this juncture, that is something he can carry with him for the rest of his career, is how he made Chris Jericho tap out in the middle of the ring. How Chris Jericho is still talking about the fact that he beat The Rock and Stone Cold in the same night. MJF got that last night.
Mm-hmm. So I'm conflicted. MJF should win, right? Jericho didn't need the win. He didn't need to, overcome all those odds because that would have just crapped on MJF. It would have just shot him down. MJF couldn't beat him after he got beat by 5 people. MJF should win. However, what does that do for us going forward now? What does MJF get from it? He beat down a beaten down man. It was a lose-lose.
Yeah, but he's not going to tell you that when he's bragging about it. He's going to hope you have selective memory and don't remember that. And Jericho's probably going to go away for a little bit. And when he comes back, nobody's ever going to remember the way that this run. And I say run by, hopefully he comes back in November for, the show then. But, Jericho's somebody you can pull out of the hat at any juncture and catapult immediately into any program you want to.
To be honest, it looks like the Fozzy tour dates are lined up with the AEW dates. There's no saying that he's not going to be on TV.
Yeah, no. And, at the very least, it's time for him to go into a program with somebody else. It's time for the Pinnacle to do something else other than the Inner Circle feud. It's been great. It hasn't felt stale, but it's time for him to, move on. And there's,
can you imagine? And this, I know we're slamming WWE here, but can you imagine 2 5-man groups feuding with each other for almost a year.
Yeah.
I can't.
Mm-mm.
I would be bored with it in about a month's time.
Not in this era. Although I'll tell you one thing I don't want to see Jericho doing. I don't want to see him pouring Jack Daniels down Punk's throat anytime soon.
Well, that happened once, so we'll have to see.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that has been a Crean and Clist. Holy smokes, 30 minutes, Matthew. You promised me 19.
No, we said clean. What did we say? Clean 19
or clean 19. Yeah, you gave me a filthy 30.
No, a thick 30.
For Matthew Thomas, I'm the man they call Meathead. We'll talk again tomorrow morning. We're going to be talking about what Christian has to say on Impact, plus getting you ready for a very big weekend in WWE. For Matthew, I'm Meathead. So long, everyone.